before, I arrived in Glastonbury, and I went to an astrology event. I came across a magazine called The Oracle when I was there in my Airbnb, and The Oracle has a list of all the events that take place in Glastonbury. At least it has most of them. It also has adverts in there of all the yoga halls, accommodations, bed and breakfasts. So if you haven't checked it out already, just Google Oracle magazine. It's an esoteric magazine. Maybe look up Oracle Glastonbury and you should come across a PDF format of the magazine online for any of you that are interested. So going back to my original point of my Glastonbury experience, when I arrived, I went to an astrology show. The next morning, I went to see Glastonbury Abbey. I saw the tour, so you walk up the high street and to the right, and you just follow the signs to the tour. Once you come down the hill from the tour, you end up in Chalice Wells, which is where the spring wells are, and then there's a Peace Gardens close to the wells as well. It's a really peaceful town, and it has a lot of spiritual houses, healers. It has a high street full of esoteric books, temples, and also healing places, especially shamanic healing, and there's lots of crystal shops as well. So my experience of Glastonbury is I found Glastonbury to be deeply healing for me. So I did mention that I was suffering from anxiety. When I arrived in Glastonbury, I felt like I was arriving in a vortex of healing energy. It was really strange for me because this was when I was arriving and I hadn't a clue about how much healing was taking place in the town until I spoke to the hosts of the Airbnb, and they explained that the town it's on a sacred geometry ley line, and it's a really deeply spiritual place. It's only when I started visiting everything, like the tour, the Abbey, Chalice Wells. I also attended the Goddess House. On Thursdays between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. they provide goddess healing. It's by donation, so I attended a shamanic healing practice. It was really good, really good. I also visited some crystal shops and I bought some moldavite, and when I was leaving Glastonbury, I could honestly say I felt like I've been away for a week, even though I was there for 2 days. I felt like I've been on holiday for 1 week. I felt so calm and relaxed, and my anxiety actually did disappear. In fact, I took a pen and pad with me and I wrote loads of notes on what direction I wanted my life to take, and just really thought about everything deeply and just wrote a list and all my thoughts down and just did some research, and I found it deeply spiritual. So in Glastonbury there are lots of events taking place. If you want to deepen your spiritual practice, there's lots of places there. There's lots to discover. So if you're just touching the edge of your spiritual journey and you don't know what it entails and you kind of just want a crash course in what spirituality is, different types of spirituality, then my advice would be go to Glastonbury, because there's a deep spiritual community there. There's everything there. And if you do your research. Once you arrive, you get a feel for what you like and what you don't like, and just experience everything with an open mind. Then you will find the answer to exactly what you're looking for. And I found that when I was there. I can very much say that I did experience the sacred geometry around Glastonbury Tour as well. That was a first for me. I've never ever imagined that I could go somewhere so deeply healing and you can feel it in nature. The area around Chalice Wells and the Peace Gardens and the Tour is deeply, deeply healing. So if you're thinking of going, please go. And just have quiet time and allow yourself to be a retreat whilst you're there. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was the best bits of what my experiences were. So as well as the physical sites that I've talked about, and the touristy things that I did, and the healing, what I really liked about Glastonbury was that I could get all the gifts that I wanted for myself, and there was a wide selection of shops, and it took a lot of walking in and out of all the shops and really thinking about what I wanted and not getting carried away with the fairies and trying to buy everything that looks nice. Because when you're around crystals and the crystals give off different forms of energy, they're really colourful, or you're just attracted to different types of crystals or books or any gifts, there is a tendency to want to buy everything in the crystal shops. So I really had to push back and discipline myself on actually buying the things I needed. So the gifts that I bought for myself was a moon diary, a coaster with artwork on it, local artwork, moldavite crystal, and I also bought a book on the moon oracle as well. So that's a summary of my Glastonbury experience. I hope you find it really useful, and if you're thinking about going to Glastonbury and it's on your bucket list, please do make a concerted effort and go. In my experience, I think 2.5 days to 3 days in Glastonbury is more than enough to fully experience everything. If you're into receiving shamanic healing, then always make an appointment before you arrive. The recommended shops that I recommend is Happy Glastonbury for crystals, books and local artwork. And if you're after shamanic healing, then try the Goddess House on a Thursday, which is a drop-in. Alternatively, the Goddess House also offers healing throughout the week with healers, and it's also a nice place to go and retreat. It has a nice meditation room in there if you just want to sit somewhere quiet. There's also the Goddess Temple on the High Street, which is supposed to be really small. I haven't been in there personally, but I've heard it's a really nice place to sit. And if you prefer some form of deeper shamanic healing, then I've heard a lot of recommendations on Jay and Kestrel, who own Bridget Healing Centre just off the High Street. So go and experience it, and thank you for listening.